Yeah, I'd love to.
Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Joe Fantagrossi, and I'm the principal of Fairport High School. I've had the opportunity to meet those who sit in front of you today at the luncheon yesterday, and it really is overwhelming to think of the contributions of the group that is seated before us. The Wall of Fame is a unique thing to Fairport High School, and really a unique thing to the Fairport School District. And this being my second year here, it was a little hard for me to grasp last year and what it meant. And then Mr. Davis was kind enough to give me the packet that he gives to the students who do the interviews and the introductions today. And as I was flipping through the packet, I came to the page that talked about the purpose of the Alumni Wall of Fame. And the purpose is to honor alumni who have gone on to achieve significant success, and to provide reminders to current students as an example. And I thought to myself, that's what we tell students every day here, that if you work hard, you do the right thing, you use your God-given talents, you live up to your potential, and you give back to your community and to our global society. And so those before you tonight have done that. And we have the great opportunity to honor and recognize them for that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And now I will turn it over to our board president, Mrs. Cardona.
Thank you, Mr. Fantagrossi, and welcome to all of you. It is certainly a privilege and a pleasure for me to speak on behalf of our Board of Education this evening as we honor all of your inductions into the Wall of Fame. Our vision as a board is to cultivate caring and creative and analytical and healthy thinkers who will compete in a diverse global society. And you certainly have done that. You're perfect examples of that and beacons of light for us. So we are so happy to celebrate that with you today and to offer to you the highest honor for Fairport alumni. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I just want to wish you congratulations. Thank you for coming home to celebrate your beacons of light with us. As Mr. Fantagrossi said, it means so much to us here in Fairport that you would do that. Thank you.
Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the 17th annual Wall of Fame induction ceremony. For those of you that ran down here and didn't get the end of the game, we won. We wound up winning. It's always nice to win on homecoming. 8 seconds left, pass to the end zone. Nice. My name is John Davis, and I'm the chairman of the Wall of Fame Committee. I'm also a social studies teacher here at Fairport High School, and I'm very proud to be here today, and I want to welcome you all. Like Principal Fantagrossi mentioned, the Wall of Fame is pretty unique, and it's also at the same time equally wonderful in that it is by design to honor the successful examples of a life path that any Fairport alumni can go on and reach for the stars. It's also a shining example, a visual reminder to students, current students at Fairport High School that no matter what field of endeavor they want to pursue in life, that there are role models for that field that have walked the halls of FHS. If you turn to the back of your program, I just want to give you a little history about the Wall of Fame. After today's ceremony, we will have 83 inductees on the Wall of Fame over 17 years. Now, the Wall of Fame is not about numbers, and it's not about popularity. It's about two things: honoring alumni that have pursued success in their life, and to provide role models for kids in a visual format, in a visual way. One of the things I'm most proud of as being on the Wall of Fame committee for 17 years now is the wide variety of not only the classes represented that you can see, such as our first inductee, Walter Parse, the founder of the town of East Rochester. I grew up on the border of East Rochester. I was just on the Fairport line, and the kids I played with when I was, before I went to Jefferson Avenue at 5, they were friends, But when that big yellow school bus with Fairport painted on it came by and picked me up, boy, these, of course, were the days of the rivalry of the little brown jug game, which our students were amazed to learn about, because, of course, it's kind of gone by the wayside. Anyway, one of the things I'm most proud of is the variety of professions and walks of life of the 83 inductees. The Wall of Fame today has, just to read a few here, there are artists, medical doctors, lawyers, educators, entrepreneurs, and inventors, musicians, government leaders, innovators, movie producers, business executives and leaders, secretaries, decorated military heroes, actors, mayors, silversmiths, poets and writers, New York State Supreme Court judges, coaches, just to name a few. Now, since it's about the kids, I'm happy to turn it over to our first student presenter. I wanted to introduce you to a current senior at Fairport High School. This is Ryan Bowen from the class of 2014, and Ryan is a wonderful, wonderful young man. Just a little history about him. He is currently enrolled in Mr. Malaber's leadership class. Leadership is a class that basically goes on, I don't even want to call it a field trip, a working experience in Washington, D.C., where students actually go in and interview some of the highest ranking members of our government. And Ryan is leaving tomorrow, and I couldn't think of a better student to introduce you to Carl Fortin from the class of 1990. Ryan, come on up.
Carl Fortin is one of the most intelligent and successful graduates of Fairport High School, accomplishing major political feats including directing Mitt Romney's 2008 primary campaign and directing the super PAC that supported Mitt Romney's presidential campaign in 2012. Mr. Fortin can best be described with a single word: remarkable. He has achieved in a very short period of time what many politicians do not achieve in a lifetime. Mr. Fortin graduated from Fairport in 1990 after moving here in 7th grade from Buffalo. He then went on to college at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. After graduating with a bachelor's degree in political communication, he began working at a small company that created political advertisements. He has worked in the National Republican Congressional Committee and, of course, worked for Mitt Romney as a political director and super PAC director. Mr. Fortin clearly has an incredible resume, but what is even more impressive than his accomplishments is his character. Growing up with parents that started with little, he worked extremely hard to become successful. Mr. Fortin learned from them at a young age the values of hard work and humility. Although he has every right to be arrogant because his accomplishments could easily support that, he is one of the most humble people that I have ever met. These values of humility and hard work are the characteristics he believes contributed most to his success. While others flaunt their accomplishments, Mr. Fortin has always believed that hard work is what will truly get you noticed. By carrying out this belief, he was able to achieve his incredible success. One thing that Mr. Fortin said he noticed about Fairport High School upon returning years after his graduation is that although it has gotten larger, the infrastructure has developed, and there are different stores, it is still the closely knit community it was when he attended. The tightly woven place where he met some of his best lifelong friends meant more to him than any other thing in high school. He is one of the most incredible people I have ever met, a terrific role model, and is more than deserving to be on the Wall of Fame. And so, it is my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Mr. Carl Fortin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Ryan. Super job. Our next student presenter, Sarah Brzezinski from the class of 2014, was a student of mine last year. And there's two words that come to my mind when I think of Sarah. Total class act. Sorry, that's three words. Sarah is a wonderful young lady who is and carries herself very, very, very well throughout the halls of FHS. She has a maturity level beyond her years. And Sarah, I want to welcome you up to the podium to induct James Buddy Ione. But Sarah, 2 seconds before I do. We've never had this happen before, but Buddy Ione from the class of 1977 is currently a school teacher in California. And fresh off the press from his high school, this thing is so fresh, it's warm in my hands. This is from the principal of Buddy's high school, who wanted me to read this letter to you, Buddy, at your induction ceremony. Dear Principal Fanagrossi, it has come to our attention that Captain James Ione will be inducted into the Fairport High School Hall of Fame this Saturday, September 28th, 2013. Please share our sincere congratulations from Pacifica High School. Captain Ione is an integral part of our teaching staff, exuding enthusiasm for his newfound profession. He has shared that he was inspired by teachers at Fairport High School, and he now inspires students at Pacifica High School. The NJROTC program under the captain's direction is flourishing. Once again, Pacifica High School Associated Student Body and staff salute Captain James Ione for this distinguished honor. Sincerely, your principal, Jason Bavaca. Buddy, congratulations, and I'll leave this letter here. And, you know, I congratulate you on this letter, but you're a Red Raider, buddy, okay? And your home and your high school salutes you today. Just know that. Sarah, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Just yesterday, I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. James Ione, but to any Fairport alumni of the class of 1977, they would know him as Buddy. At FHS, Buddy was an avid athlete who most notably played football and ran track for the Red Raiders. He was outgoing, friendly, and a self-proclaimed jock. His fond memories of Fairport schools and athletics were formed by the teachers and coaches surrounding him. In fact, his teachers at FHS inspired him to want to become a teacher himself. After graduating with the class of 1977, Buddy attended the University of Rochester, joined the Navy. During his career in the Navy, Buddy lived across the country, from Pensacola, Florida, to New Orleans, to Washington, D.C., and to San Diego. Currently, Buddy is an instructor at an NJROTC high school program in Southern California. Buddy spoke of the program with such passion, whose pillars included developing discipline, respect, and responsibility. This is a place where, he said, kids find a home and a place where they can excel. The biggest smile that Buddy had yesterday afternoon was when Coach Santini entered the room. The two talked about memorable games, an unforgettable muffed punt, and the creation of the excellent Fairport football program. This showed me the influence Fairport coaches have on student athletes' lives. Even with an excellent athletic and naval career, Buddy's greatest achievement is watching his 4 kids grow up and succeed. In his own words, watching them succeed is something that no touchdown and no 100-yard sprint can surpass. 10 years from now, Buddy sees himself continuing on in the field of education, possibly becoming a principal and eventually retiring to enjoy life with his wife and children. And 10 years from now, Buddy's Wall of Fame plaque will still deservingly be hanging in Fairport High School. And so it is my honor to introduce you to the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Mr. James Buddy Ione.
Great job, Sarah. Great job. We just got a fine day. Thank you so much.
Which one's right here.
Congratulations. Let me get you your boss's letter. Our next presenter, student presenter, is also a senior. All these kids are seniors at Fairport High School, and what a group they are. I am so proud of them. When I went down to visit Alex Lapointe and ask him if he wanted to do this program today, he was actually in his AP English class typing his college essay. I said, how would you like to type another one? And I couldn't think of a better student to induct a swimming coach than the captain of the swimming team. So come on up, Alex. Welcome to the podium.
All right. Well, as Mr. Davis said, I'm captain of the swim team here and a senior at Fairport High School. But tonight's not really about me at all, so forget that. It's all about these guys, and one in particular, Mr. Mike Kennedy, my coach. Mike graduated from Fairport in 1984 with a number of achievements. He was captain of his swim team also. He had 5-time high school sectional championships under his belt. He was a 2-time New York State record holder, a 2-time high school All-American, and among the highlights of his high school swimming career was when Fairport beat Liverpool for the state title in 1982. After leaving Fairport, Mike attended SUNY Oswego, where he attained a Bachelor of Sciences, and also while at Oswego, Mike once again earned All-American status for his achievements in the pool. When Mike's years at Oswego came to an end, he returned to Fairport, where he still resides today. And over the past 22 years of coaching both men's and women's swimming programs here at Fairport, he's just seen even more success. In 2000, Mike was named the national program, he was named the National Coach of the Year for all sports programs in the country. On top of that, he was also Section 5 Class A Coach of the Year for 5 years. He's coached 110 All-Americans, 47 New York State champions, 121 sectional champions. He's led 9 men's teams and 5 women's teams to New York State titles, and his total career wins are 295. On top of this, Mike coached 3 national champions and 1 national record holder. His greatest accomplishments, of course, are his family. His wife, Christine, and his 4 children, Nick, Allie, Ian, and Ryan. He is so proud of who they are and what they stand for. All of Mike's achievements, of course, are dwarfed by his love and support for everyone whose life he's touched. I asked a few graduates this weekend what they remembered most about Mike Kennedy, and these are the responses I got. 2013 graduate David Howard said, "Mike had an ability to understand me better than I was able to understand myself at times. He got me to introspect to all the best out of myself." That was David. And then 2012 graduate and valedictorian Evan Zhang said, "What really stood out to me was how genuine of a person he is. Obviously, he's a great swim coach, but I really respect people for their character. And Mike cared about all of us as people, not just swimmers. He really wanted the best for all of us, both outside the pool and inside the pool, which is why he would let me go to my orchestra and math team meetings when the practice schedules conflicted. Most coaches wouldn't do that, but Mike did it with no questions asked. He truly understood what was important to each and every one of us as people." And then finally, 2011 graduate John Spitzer said, "Mike has so much compassion towards his swimmers. Not only is he a great coach, but he genuinely cares about his swimmers, friends, family, and schoolwork." So true, by the way. Mike is definitely a family man. Each day when we get out of practice, he says, go home and take care of your family. And he lives by that motto himself. I remember one year at the state championships, there was a conflict, a schedule of his. His brother was getting married on one of the days that we had the meet. So he pulled us aside and said, guys, I'm not going to be able to be at the meet. I'm sorry, but of course we totally understood, and we respected him even more than we already had before that. Mike believes that everyone should be themselves and trust themselves and their values. That is one of the reasons why Mike loves Fairport so much. He thinks the teachers and faculty are so caring and really supports the children on their journey to find out who they are as people, not just in academics. That is something I can personally share. Mike has been a role model to me and so many others over the years. He has helped all the swimmers he's coached by listening to their needs and being there when we needed someone to look up to. Mike says Fairport hasn't changed much since he was at school here, and he only has good things to say about this wonderful community. The only thing he says that he would change is the required number of community service hours. He would like to do 75 community service hours because he thinks that we should just be giving more back to the community, which really just demonstrates how much he values this Fairport experience. Mike is also just a strong believer in the Fairport community, and he deserved this honor he's receiving today. Mike himself has already given back so much to Fairport. He's touched so many lives. He is more than deserving of this honor, and his name will always be associated with the best and brightest that Fairport has ever produced. I was not surprised one bit to learn that Mike would be receiving this award today. I hope I did a good job explaining what Mike is all about, but honestly, his actions over the years can do a much better job than I can in just 5 minutes. It's truly been a privilege speaking to you about my coach, my mentor, and my role model. And so it is my honor to introduce you to the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Hall of Fame, Mr. Michael Kennedy.
Wonderful job, Alex. Our next student presenter, Anna Damiano, is a student of my last year. She is without a doubt one of the sweetest students I ever had in my now into my 18th year here as a teacher at Fairport High School. I had her older brother, Peter. She comes from a wonderful family, Fairport family. She works at the Fairport Public Library, a lot of hours. You might see her down there. Anna, come on up.
So I'm Anna, and this week I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Jack Peck. While speaking with him, I've learned many interesting facts about his life in Fairport. I was truly amazed to hear that he has lived in Fairport his whole life. He is a true Red Raider. When he was in high school, he played on the football and basketball team, and he also enjoyed the Little Brown Jug games. While he was still attending high school, Jack joined the U.S. Navy and served in the Pacific, primarily because our country was deep in the middle of World War II, as it was in the 1940s. Afterwards, he returned to school and graduated from West Ave in 1947. It was exciting for me to learn about his life when he was a teen in Fairport. His graduating class was between 60 to 65 students, which was shocking to me. He also told me that most kids learn to swim in the Erie Canal, and there used to be a trolley in the village. I'm envious of Jack because he grew up without cell phones, the internet, and TVs. It sounded like he had more free time. So Jack worked as a troubleshooter for RG&E for 30 years in all sorts of weather, and he has also been involved with the National Ski Patrol. He was a past president for the fire department and the Hook and Ladder Company. In May 2009, he was honored at the Fairport Fire Department banquet for over 50 years of service, but he is still an active member of the Fire Police. He is a charter and life member of the Parrington Memorial VFW Post 8495. He helps out with the center stage in the town of Perryton and helped organize the Fairport Swim Club. I was very impressed to hear that he went on the honor flight Rochester to Washington with the World War II survivors. Jack showed me that he was a true family man when he told me that his biggest accomplishment in life was raising his 4 children and that he has been married for 56 years. He is a lifelong Fairport community volunteer, and he inspires me to do the same. Anyone who knows Jack knows that he has always given back to the community, and so it is my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame from the class of 1947, Jack Peck.
Thank you. Such a nice presentation.
Wonderful job, Anna. Thank you. Our next student presenter is facing an empty chair. Unfortunately, Margie Brewing Green from the class of 1962 couldn't be here today, and I had a wonderful conversation with her husband, Don Green, on the phone this past week. Don nominated his own wife, Margie Green, and he was so proud and so thrilled when she made it as a yes, getting into the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame. Little did he know that, and I don't know who nominated him, but he got nominated for the Brockport College Wall of Fame, and they're on the same day, which is today, like right now. So Don was very upset that he didn't want the spotlight on himself today, but rather on Margie. But she's there and supporting him. So I told her we would tape this ceremony and get her a copy. Both of them have been close with Don Santini over the years. And so in Margie's name, Don's going to accept her award, and we'll get her a copy of this. To introduce you to Margie, I want to introduce you to her student presenter. Sarah Humrich is an amazing young lady for several reasons. She approached me and asked me if she could participate in today's ceremony. She's friends with our other Sarah here today. And I was so impressed when I pulled up her schedule. This young lady is got quite a schedule in terms of taking advanced placement courses at Fairport High School, and we have a rich variety of AP courses. But just to give you an example, Sarah's currently taking AP, which is a college course, advanced placement statistics, AP French 5, leadership class, which leaves for Washington, D.C. tomorrow, AP English 12, AP Chemistry, and AP Calculus. She's already a college student in her senior year and probably will walk into college as a sophomore. Sarah, come on up to the podium.
Good afternoon. This past Thursday, I had the incredible privilege to speak with Mrs. Margaret Brennan Green. Mrs. Green is such a caring, humble, and generous person that embodies the values encouraged here at Fairport. Graduating in 1962 from Minerva DeLand, Mrs. Green was very involved in the school and community. She was a member of the band, a cheerleader, a class officer, and a member of National Honor Society. Besides this, she was crowned Monroe County Fair Queen in 1961, and during the summer of 1962 was asked to be the ambassadress for New York State. With this, she traveled the state speaking to many different groups promoting the fair at the young age of 17. When I spoke with her, Mrs. Green said that she felt that Fairport High School was the main proponent in getting her there. She raved of the education she received and how the community prepared her for the future. Following her graduation from Fairport, Mrs. Green spent her freshman year of college at SUNY Potsdam and was immediately placed on the dean's list. The following year, she transferred to Catherine Gibbs Executive Secretary School, graduating in December of 1963. From here, Mrs. Green moved several places across the United States, married her husband Donald Green, and together they had 4 children. In 1983, the couple settled into their current residence in Skaneateles, New York. Here, Margie was designated the chairperson of the YMCA's annual scholarship campaign this past year, raising $30,000 for the cause. Mrs. Green is also the secretary for the American Legion Post 239 Ladies Auxiliary and has a leadership role in the Syracuse branch of Honor Flights. This program helps World War II veterans go to Washington, D.C. to see the war monuments. Mrs. Green has the incredible talent of speaking well in front of others and easily motivating them towards a good cause. She told me that this has led back to her roots in Fairport, both through cheerleading and public speaking classes she took. She has carried her background through her life and spoke fondly of the loving, warm, and caring community she's experienced here during her time at Fairport. She told me that thinking of Fairport makes her think of happy times. Mrs. Green is truly an amazing woman, so driven, humble, kind, and warm. Her advice to current students is to always keep an open mind, never forget home, and family first. She is more than deserving of this honor, and so it is my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Margaret Brennan Green.
Thank you, great job.
Thank you.
Our last student presenter today, Paige Casey, has an empty chair in front of her as well. And Dr. Karen Ann Weiner from the class of 1997 unfortunately lost her life way too early and way before her prime, although she had a rich life. I want to thank the nominator for Dr. Karen Ann Weiner. We learned so much. Her parents were both here in the building yesterday, and we had a wonderful lunch. They are the sweetest people, and I thank you for coming today. And Karen's mom is going to accept on her behalf. I asked her if she would like to take her chair, and it was her decision to keep it open. So we will remember Karen from Paige Casey's speech. Paige is my current student. She is in my criminal justice class, and I am psyched to have her. We're getting started on a brand new school year, just a couple weeks in. But just to give you an example, Paige walked in the first day of school, a great big smile on her face. Every day she comes to class with a great big smile, positive attitude, ready to learn, and she's just a great kid. Paige, come on up to the podium and tell us about Karen.
Yesterday, I had the great pleasure and honor of meeting Dr. Karen Ann Weiner's parents. They are truly amazing people who unconditionally love and care so much about Karen as well as their 3 other children. They truly raised a beautiful, creative, and overall well-rounded daughter who has achieved many accomplishments. Karen was an unbelievably smart woman who had the opportunity to travel the world, going to over 30 different countries. Through her travels, she had countless opportunities to help improve the lives of others. Not only did Karen travel, she volunteered at most of the places that she visited, including an orphanage for the deaf. During her senior year at Notre Dame, she was chosen with 200 other students to be a part of the Alliance for Catholic Education, also known as ACE. She then went on to West Africa, where she taught 1st through 3rd grade South Africans. After 2 years in Milan, West Africa, Karen was accepted into Harvard, where she earned her doctorate of education. One of Karen's final jobs was becoming involved in the FHI 360. This stands for Family Health International 360. She also played a role in the U.S. aid to international development. This is where Karen applied for the Literacy Grand Challenge, which she ended up winning for her concept of Time Merengue, which her parents were thankfully enough to give this to me and show me like what she did and her work, which is truly beautiful. Dr. Weiner then continued to start a program in Casanovo for children to write their own books. Although I was unable to address all of Karen's accomplishments with you today, her legacy still stands in Fairport, the places she traveled, and the library that was built in her name. And so it is my honor to introduce you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Hall of Fame from class of 1997, Dr. Karen Ann Weiner.
Folks, the class of 2013, congratulations. Before we conclude today's ceremony, there's some people I want to thank. I want to thank the Board of Education for supporting the Wall of Fame for the past 17 years. And Marty, thank you for your words today. I want to thank Donna Russell, who works tirelessly here at the high school, working behind the scenes, organizing events, not just for homecoming weekend, but all year. Donna runs the yearbook, and the yearbook is phenomenal. I don't know if you've seen a new copy of the yearbook, but she's won several awards, and thank you so much. I want to thank Kathy Meyer, faculty secretary in the main office, who, without her, I couldn't do this at all. She's amazing. I want to thank all of you for coming today so very much. The Wall of Fame's a unique thing, and I'm really proud to be part of it. I absolutely want to thank the students. You guys did a great job today. Thank you so much. Okay, before we close out here, I just want to let you know there's an unveiling ceremony down by the auditorium. So as you leave this room, we're going to head down by the auditorium. You just exit this door and go down to your right and take a right at the intersection, and we'll run into the new plaques have been mounted, and we'll do an unveiling ceremony. I'm going to ask that the students get a picture with your respective inductee by the Wall of Fame. And we've got some cookies and punch down there for all of you. Thank you so much for coming today.